I do have a question here from Danny here in the
Okay.
shop. Getting back to your snap a little bit, who's an up and coming player that you think has a similar kind of pop, or maybe he's a Colorado guy, maybe he's not. Maybe one guy who you play with, you're like, man, that guy has incredible snap. Who's a well-known pro, and then maybe one who's an up and comer who maybe we'll be more aware of after 2024.
Okay. So this is probably not exactly what you're looking for, but I'll throw Tristan Tanner into this mix.
Okay.
I played with him back before either one of us was on tour,
Hmm.
and he jumped from like an 890 player to 990 player in 1 year. And
Okay.
the craziest thing about him was his snap. He would just have the slowest walk up you've ever seen in your life, and then just throw the disc so much harder than you thought he possibly could. It was
Hmm.
just kind of like baffling at the time for all of us for how hard he was throwing the disc with absolutely no walk up. So Tristan Tanner, wild guy to watch, coming up through the ranks. And then like the next year he went on the pro tour. So
Hmm. Hmm.
of course we've seen him on, footage and stuff since then. So definitely one of those guys that just has that Colorado snap out of nowhere. I don't know.
Nice. No, that's perfect. That's a good answer. But we know Tristan Tanner, so you got to give me another one. You got to give me a an up and comer
An
or
up and
someone who, yeah,
comer.
yeah. And also, I have to
Goodness.
ask, do you guys have a tech disc between you there in Arizona? So are you getting the stats? What are we topping out at? Are we breaking 80? What's our MPH going at?
So I got a tech disc, and I've thrown it some while I was in Colorado. I got a net that I was throwing into. My average throws are right at like 72, 73 miles an hour. I can
Mhm.
get it up to like 76, 77 if I'm throwing like an Anheuser release, really like laying into it.
Mhm.
And then recently, AB and I did a video. We were looking at stuff. We threw a like 120 Scorch, and I was able to break 80 with the 120
Okay,
Scorch. Um,
not a
AB was
sustainable model though.
Yeah, AB was up at like 89, something like that. So
Oh my God.
definitely getting a lot more speed than I'm getting. But yeah, as far as like numbers go, it's somewhere around there for me. And then I'm throwing really nose up versus a lot of players are throwing flatter, more nose
Hmm.
down.
Hmm.
And then as far as like the spin to like spin ratio, sorry, speed to spin ratio. I
Hmm.
think I'm a little bit lower on that range. I'm getting less spin on the disc versus I think players like Ricky, like AB, are getting more spin on the disc in
Okay.
comparison to how fast they're throwing. So just that's what I've noticed recently myself. Um, I don't know.
You're
Yeah, go ahead.
as you talk about this stuff, I know you have an engineering background, computer science background. Have you thought about applying sort of data analysis to your approach, your off-season approach, or your training?
Yeah, I was thinking about like what would be more beneficial, things like that. So I really like worked hard on like changing my form slightly to see if I could change those numbers a little bit. And I was
Hmm.
getting a pretty like I could like change those numbers. The if I focused on specific things, I could get more spin on the disc. I could get the nose down. I could do a lot of things like that. And then
Hmm.
overall, I was like, these are decent things to like practice and try out, but they're only going to be useful to me in very specific situations because my throw is so solid as is, just like what I'm doing naturally.
Hmm.
It's hard for me to like justify actually like changing some stuff. What
Hmm.
I'd love to see is someone go to like every player and then just see what the spin to speed ratios are, see what their release angles, all those things are, and
Hmm.
give us some solid data on all of that. And then
Hmm.
hopefully eventually, we'll get to the point where we're reading, speed and spin coming off people's hands, during tournaments. And we can
Right. That
kind
would
of
be
have
some
that gauge.
awesome. That would be some awesome information to have just
Yeah.
during live coverage, obviously.